So I've been asked to speak today on simple living, not simply living. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Dharijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakandritam Sham Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutare Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. This is a very interesting title. I really like the poetic quality of it. Simple living or simply living. You analyze it, there's a lot of deep meaning there. If we're not we're not engaged in simple living, we're not actually simply living, we're dying. Simply living with no spirituality is not really living, that's the point. You're just going through the motions of living. Actually, we've transmigrated through millions and millions of life forms to get this human body. The Vedas say, Tato Brahma Jigyasa. Now you have a human form, you are meant for self-realization. So unless you actually pursue the pathway of self-realization, spiritual enlightenment, you're not really a human being either. You're just living as an animal, a polished animal. And the dog is running on 4 legs, you're running on 4 wheels in your car, isn't it? So simply having a nice automobile, a nice Toyota, or Honda, or whatever, a nice air-conditioned house, doesn't mean you achieve some high position of consciousness. These, they have very nice beehives. Very nice house there. The real human life means you have to actually awaken your dormant Krishna consciousness. That's human life. You say, well, why Krishna consciousness? Well, the thing is, you have to understand who you really are. This present material body is not who you are. We're all originally in the spiritual world. That's our original identities. We're all originally residents of the spiritual world. But due to some mistake of consciousness, being envious of the Supreme Lord, He's given us a place where we can feel that we're the Supreme, because that's what we wanted to think, I'm the Supreme. This world is a place where you can think you're the Supreme, even though you're not really, you can imagine you're the Supreme. Even we see this in little children. One kid is playing in his room, the kid comes from next door, he looks at the kid's toys and the kid goes, mine, mine. So this is a place where you can think, you're the owner, you're the proprietor. But what does Krishna say in Gita? Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka mahesvaram suhridam sarvabhutanam yatramam shuddhamistati. One who knows me is the supreme owner, supreme enjoyer, and the best friend of all living entities. He has peace, and no one else. So here I'm thinking I'm the owner, therefore I'm the enjoyer. You see, it's my house, therefore I can do whatever I want to in it. I can enjoy it whatever I want to do because it's my house. Doesn't matter, pious, impious, I can do whatever I want because it's my house. That's an illusion. As soon as we think I'm the enjoyer, I'm the owner, then we cut ourselves off from our friend Krishna. And that's not a very intelligent thing to do. Because when you actually re-establish your relationship with Krishna, then your life becomes unlimitedly auspicious. Because actually to associate with Krishna is the supreme perfection of our existence. You actually acknowledge that Krishna is the owner, therefore he is the enjoyer. Then you actually enter in, you re-enter into that loving relationship with Krishna. You actually experience Krishna wherever you go. You actually feel he is present. You can experience his presence. You see? This is what Krishna consciousness actually means. To directly associate with that Supreme Person who is the source of all existence at every minute. At home, at work, wherever you go, on the commute, wherever you are, you're always in direct contact with Krishna. That's what it means to be Krishna conscious. And that's the real purpose of human life, to get back to that relationship. Just like in the spiritual sky, we read about how these leelas are going on, and everything is centered around Krishna. Everything. He's the cynosure of all eyes. Everything rotates around Krishna. So the Vedic culture, which was practiced in India for thousands of years, which has now been disrupted by the age of Kali. That Vedic culture is the culture of re-establishing that relationship with Krishna and Brahma. Either the original form or an expanded form like Lord Ram. It's the same. Ram is also Krishna, just in a different vasa, different shape. When God wants to have many wives or many girlfriends, that's Krishna. He wants to have only one, that is Ram. It's the same person in different vasas. So to get back to that loving relationship with that supreme person, that's the real meaning of simple living. I come from America. We have a philosopher there named Emerson. Prabhupada quoted him, plain living and high thinking. Trouble is, now we have very sophisticated living and no thinking. You see, we're not introspective. Where do they teach you in the school to consider what is the purpose of your existence? They teach 1 plus, okay students, 1 plus 1 equals 2. That's the beginning of education. And A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, K, K, L, M, N. That's how we begin education. But there's no question, who am I? Where have I come from? What's the purpose of my existence? That's not even discussed. What sort of education is that? That's not education. Real education means Tato Brahma Jigyasa. What is the absolute truth? That's the education. So the Vedic culture, you have Gurukula, the young boys, they go to the ashram with the spiritual master. That's their education. At the age of 5, they begin education. So we didn't have that good fortune. But by the grace of His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Chidandi Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, the Founder-Acharya of our ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We're getting the education now, better late than never. This knowledge is so powerful that in any age, one can understand it. A young boy, a young girl, a teenager, doesn't matter what age, everyone should be educated in this knowledge. Because this knowledge brings you back to your actual identity. I'm not this body, I'm a spiritual being, I'm qualitatively one with God. So by coming back to that original identity, the result is you become ecstatic. The nature of the living God is not cruel. God has expanded all us from Himself to enjoy loving relationships with us. That's why we exist, to have loving relationship with God. We don't exist because my mom and dad wanted to have a baby. That's not why I exist. That just explains how the body came about. The actual jiva who lives in that body, why does he exist? He is emanated from Krishna or God for the purpose of the Lord enjoying a loving relationship with Him. That's why you exist. Each one of you exists because the Lord wanted to have a specific type of loving relationship. As I've explained many times before, there are no two living entities that are alike. Everyone is unique. It's like snowflakes. There's no two snowflakes that are the same. They're all different. So every jiva is different. So Krishna wants to enjoy relationships. That's his nature. He loves love. He loves rasa, loving rasa. So to expand the flavor of rasa, he expands an unlimited number of living entities from himself to enjoy a particular type of loving relationship with each and every living entity. Every living entity, there's a different sort, there's 5 primary rasas, there's an infinite number of subordinate rasas. So each one of you have a certain nature, a certain quality that gives a certain, when you come back to loving Krishna, that gives a certain type of satisfaction to Him that nobody else can give Him. Everybody's unique. So we're meant to get back to that loving relationship with Krishna, to satisfy Him and to satisfy ourselves. So the Vedic culture trains us how to do that. So Prabhupada is reintroducing Vedic culture. This is actual Indian culture, not, chai, chai, chai. That's not Indian culture. That's the British exploitation of Indians. The Indians didn't drink tea. Britishers drank tea. The Britishers were growing tea in India to go back to the UK. They thought, why don't we just see if we can get these Indians hooked on tea, we can make more money off of them. So they opened up every village and said, oh, we'd like to introduce to you all this wonderful thing called tea. They had free tea stalls all over India. So, because the Indians didn't drink tea, that wasn't part of Indian culture, but they gave all the free tea stalls, and come and try this tea, it's very nice. Come and try it. So the villagers said, oh, I don't know. Well, come on, give it a try. I'll give it. So then once they got you addicted on tea, now they started selling it to you. So now they think tea is Indian culture. It's British culture. It's British exploitation of India. You see? So Gandhi got the Britishers out, but he didn't get the tea out, you see. But Prabhupada is getting the tea out. Prabhupada is doing more than Gandhi to bring back Indian culture. Actually, Gandhi's movement, India was split. Hindustan, Pakistan. It was formerly one country. It was split. The parting kick of the Britishers. We can't have India, therefore we'll destroy it as we leave. That was the British. But now, Prabhupada is bringing back the old Vedic culture. Actually, formerly the whole world was Indian. The whole world was Indian culture, Vedic culture. During the reign of Maharaj Pariksha, the Hastinapur was the capital, and now it is India. That was the capital of the entire Earth planet. Australia was also part of Indian culture in those days. The whole world was Vedic culture, Indian culture. The whole world. So our movement is actually, our mission is to bring back Vedic culture to the whole planet Earth. Whole planet Earth. Bring it back. We want to revolutionize the entire, we're not just attracting, not just Indians. Of course, everyone's an Indian in this. Oh, no, we're all Indians. We're all part of the Vedic culture, we just forgot. So our mission is to make Australia Krishna conscious, America, Europe, Russia, China, everywhere, Africa. We want to make the whole world Krishna conscious because that's the actual natural identity of every living entity. So, Lord Chaitanya therefore told us we should tell everyone about Krishna. That's our duty as Chaitanyites. Give everyone teachings of Krishna. So how does it apply now to our daily lives? I'm talking about some philosophy. Now let's get down to the philosophy sounds very nice, putting God back in the center, but how do I actually do it practically? You see, that's the question. Well, in your home, you have to make God the center, not the TV set. You have an altar, you have Krishna, you can have a nice picture, in the temple you get from India, you get a nice picture of Radha and Krishna. You can have Lord Chaitanya and his associates, who's Krishna himself coming again in the age of Kali to flood us with bhakti. You have Prabhupada there, make nice photographs, and that should be the center of your house. Not stuck in some remote closet somewhere, but a very central part. Instead of the, setting the television set in the living room. Who even needs the television set in the living room? But you make a nice prominent area in your house. You have your altar, and you have the arati every day. You can offer an arati in the morning and the evening. All your food should be offered on the altar before eating. The kids also know, Mommy, has this been offered? The kids also know, Mommy, I won't eat it unless it's offered. You see? Krishna says, Patram pushpam palam tayam yome bhakti payashtati talaham bhakti bhagavatam Vishnami prayatatmana. If one will offer me a leaf, a flower, fruit or water, I will accept it. But no, I left something out. What did I leave out? Bhaktya, with love. If you offer it with love, I will accept it. So this is the thing, it's called love in practice. Even though we're all pure devotees of Krishna, dormant within our heart, right now that's covered by lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. So we practice love. Sadhana bhakti means you act in a loving way towards Krishna by first of all offering all your food to him before you eat. Offer him the arati ceremony. This is love in practice. Just like Prabhupada gives the example, formerly in Vedic culture, Indian culture, they'd be married when they were little kids. They would still live with their two little children, be married, husband and wife, but they're still living as children in their respective homes. So the little girl, she will cook something and take it to the other house to offer to her husband. Even though there's no feeling, she hasn't even gotten puberty yet, there's no attraction for boys. But she's, out of duty, she's serving the boy, the husband. So when she becomes finally, she comes to puberty, then she'll feel that attraction, but now she already has that loving relationship based on service. So that's an example also for us that now we don't have pure love for Krishna, but we understand that He's the Supreme Lord, and we're His servants, and we have to revive that love. So by engaging in activities, cooking our food, offering to Krishna, offering the arati to Krishna, visiting the temple of Krishna, reading the teachings of Krishna, chanting the names of Krishna, you see all these activities, what they're doing is they're bringing us back to our original enlightened state of consciousness, pure love of God. So instead of running after this and that and so many things trying to be happy, we understand there's only one thing that can actually make us happy, and that's to revive our loving relationship with Krishna. We don't need this, that, so many things. Be happy. We only need one thing to be happy, and that's the love of Krishna. So that's how your life becomes very simple. All you really need is Krishna. That's all you really need. You have Krishna, everything is there. Krishna takes Eko Bhavanam Yovedadati Kama. That Supreme Person takes care of all the necessities. If I have Krishna, I have no anxiety. You see, even for my bodily maintenance, I have no anxiety. Krishna is maintaining the atheists also. He won't maintain his devotees. He'll give good facilities. If I'm devotee of Krishna, then I have no anxiety about anything. Everything. Krishna is in control of everything. My health, my wealth, everything. God is the supreme controller. Everything is acting under His direction. If I'm connected with Him, then everything becomes auspicious. Everything's auspicious. So it's that the example is given of the goldsmith and the blacksmith. The blacksmith, he just deals with iron. The goldsmith, all day he's tapping, tapping, tapping on the gold to bring it to the right shape. Tapping, tapping, tapping. The blacksmith, one stroke, boom, finished. So Krishna is like that. You see, just okay. The materialists are doing so many things that are going to be happy. This to be happy, that to be happy, so many things. This, so many things to try to be happy, make this arrangement, that arrangement, go on. Thousands and millions of arrangements, trying to be happy and still not happy. But Krishna consciousness is a very simple thing. Simply put Krishna back in the center, boom, one stroke, finished. Krishna is now the center of my life. Everything is for Krishna. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yajrahosi dadasi yat tapashati kamte yat tat kadushavadmanarvanami. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer and give away, as well as whatever austerities you may perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. That's all we have to do. All we have to do is put Krishna back in the center. And then our lives become full of bliss. And then everything becomes very easy. How I earn a living, that becomes easy by Krishna's arrangement. How I'll take care of my health, how I'll raise my kids, how I'll relate with my neighbors, how I'll relate with my boss. Every little detail of your life, when you put Krishna in the center, it becomes very easy because Krishna gives you the intelligence how to do everything in such a way that pleases Him. My relationship with my wife, I do in a way that pleases Krishna. That way, no divorce. But it's not for my pleasure anymore. This relationship is not for my pleasure. Not that my wife has to please me, or I have to please my wife. No, now we both have to please Krishna. Then there's no question of divorce. But if I'm thinking I'm the center of the marriage, and she's thinking she's the center of the marriage, then that leads to divorce in many cases. Because actually God is the center. When you put God in the center, then all the anxieties are gone because that's His actual position. If I try to take the center, or my wife tries to take the center, or my kids try to take the center, there'll be havoc and chaos in the family life. So your kids are not the center either. They'll be little demigods. You feel they seem like little demigods. But no, they're not the center either. You put your kids in the center, they will not get the proper training. They'll be puffed up. They have to be trained. Krishna is the center, not you. I'm not the center, you're not the center. Krishna is the center of the business. That's how the kids will be properly trained. That's how they'll become very pious and moral, the highest standard. That's how they'll always be dedicated to the parents, because they want to please Krishna by taking good care of their parents. When the parents get old, you have to put God in the center, Krishna in the center. Everything becomes perfect. So this is the principle of simple living and not simply living like an animal. Putting God back in the center. If there's some questions, I'm supposed to go over another 10 minutes. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them. A few questions are coming. If I can find it here. Okay, here we go on the inside. Krishna says, if one takes my shelter, I will remove reactions to all sinful actions. That's correct. We have all committed a lot of sin in this lifetime and previous lifetime. But when you surrender to Krishna, he takes away the reactions of those sins. That's a fact. One Mataji, who has given her life to Krishna, went to Vrindavan and was molested. She cried to Krishna when that was happening, but Krishna did not come. Why? That's a very detailed. It depends. There's so many things. It could be she wasn't fully surrendered to Krishna. She was still getting some. The most likely thing is, even though she was practicing Krishna Dharma, she was not fully surrendered to Krishna. She still had some previous karma because she was not fully surrendered. Although I can't say for sure. I'm just saying that's the most likely scenario. So most likely scenario, she had not completely purified herself, and that was a sinful reaction she was getting because she wasn't completely purified yet. Western world has no faith in Krishna or demigods, and they have sinful activities with so much material opulence because of past pious activity. Just like Australia, USA, these people have a lot of piety, previous piety that allows them to live in a very opulent, way. Nice highways, everything nicely made, nice buildings, nice material facilities, past pious activities, very pious activities. But what are they doing? They're killing the cows, so many things. So they're spoiling it. India has so much faith in Krishna, so much demigod worship, but no material opulence. Actually, formerly India was very, very opulent. If you read what it was like, formerly India was very, very opulent. Gold, and jewelry, and silver, very, very opulent place. But due to sin or pap, India is suffering.
Isn't it that one has to understand what is real opulence?
Real opulence means Krishna consciousness. Don't judge. Actually, it's better to live a simple life in a grass hut. A simple, pious life in a grass hut is much higher position than living in some high-rise penthouse in Manhattan. Don't be carried away by material opulence. Good point.
There was a Brahmana who was living under the tamarind tree, and the king of that place, Krishna Chandra, he said, "Why you are living under this? You are such a good Brahmana. I will make a nice house for you." And one Brahmana says, "Oh, you think I am not living in a very good house?" Yes, then he said, "I will bring you everything that you can live very nicely."
Give a mic for Mata.
And he said, "Now I don't need anything from you. I'm living very opulently. My student brings me whatever they bring me, and here is the tamarind tree, and I'm very satisfied. This is simple living."
That's a very good point. Why do ISKCON and other people spend so much money on building up temples when there's need for more education, food, shelter, and clothing? Actually, the first principle is, this is actual education. You think education is 1 + 1 = 2? It's less important talk of education. The temple is giving the highest education. How to devote oneself to God. That is more important than teaching people how to read You teach them how to read and they're still eating meat. What is the value of their reading? They're reading all kinds of books and becoming dogs and hogs and camels and asses in their next life. What is the value of their reading and their education if they're not taught how to be a devotee of Krishna? This is the highest form of education. Anything else? Question? So, got about 5 minutes left on our schedule. Any more questions, I can try to answer them. I hope you understand these points. You see, this is real education. This knowledge is the king of education. It's the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion, it is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text number 2. This is real education. What good is your education if they don't know who is God? Is it? What good is your education? Mathematics, algebra, geometry, physics. What good is this nonsense? You know what these rascals are teaching? The famous physicist, Dr. Stephen Hawking, he says everything comes out of nothing. They call that education now. They teach you everything comes out of nothing. That's their so-called education. What kind of nonsense is that? Everything came out of nothing. Can you show me even one thing that came out of nothing? Science means observation and experiment. You can do an experiment to prove your theory. We challenge Dr. Hawkins, you do one experiment to show that anything can come out of nothing. But he presents that as gospel truth. Everything comes out of nothing. Can you figure even one thing out of nothing? Dr. Hawkins, you see, these are the PhDs, the big educators. We're not interested in such education. It pollutes the mind. This is real education. Actually, these colleges, universities, they should all be run by Vaishnavas, not these meat-eaters. You go to the meat-eaters for your education. The sex-mongers and meat-eaters, you go to them for your education. What sort of education is that? This is real education. So the temples, they're giving the highest education, higher than any PhD in any university, higher than Oxford. We're giving education here. You think we're not giving education? Why make a nice temple? We should spend money on education. Don't you understand? This is the highest education. So I've come here today to educate you. I'm here today to educate you. You know, the meaning of the word comes from the Greek or Latin. It means to bring out what is already there. You already have this knowledge within you. It's not something we're imposing on you. You actually know all this stuff already, but it's buried deep. You have the greatest fortune buried deep within your heart right now. You already have it. We're not imposing something on you. You already know these things, but you've forgotten it by so many lifetimes of material association. So the spiritual master comes to bring that back up into your consciousness, it's buried in your subconsciousness right now. He brings it up from your subconscious back to your consciousness. So you go, oh yes, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not this body. I'm an eternal spiritual being, qualitatively one with God. I'm His servant. Yeah, that makes sense. By kirtan, by prasad, by hearing from the spiritual master, hearing from Vaishnava, going to the temple, engaging in observing the arati, taking the darshan of the deities, all these things purify your consciousness to bring you back to your original Krishna consciousness. So please do not think the temple is a waste of money. You should spend money on education, not on temples. That it doesn't make any sense at all. I hope you understand this point. So now we'll move on to the next phase of the program.
points in this one?
Yeah, one more point, Durama. Give Durama to the mic.
Hare Krishna. Temple. Why do we make the temple? And ask one question to yourself. Where do we go when we are in distressed condition? Something wrong happens, where do we go? Ask that question and answers will come to you. Why do we have the temple? We want peace, tranquility, so that we go to the temple. And so temple is not only for peace and tranquility, it educates us of our real thing, or get us out of the ignorance of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. That is full ignorance, nothing much. So you have to understand where the temple is the place where we can educate ourselves. We have forgotten what real education is. Eating, sleeping and mating, what we are doing, the modern day education is teaching us how to eat, sleep, mate and defend only. That animals does it without any education. And it is something that the human being goes to college and uses so many years to learn what the animals can do it without any education. Is that the human life? The real knowledge is not given in these colleges. So the temple is the place where the real education one gets it.
Yeah, thank you.